Since the beginning of time, kids have hated math. All kinds of math. It's just a waste of time, really. They say, "Teacher, when am I ever going to use this? I want to be a lawyer. I don't even need to know math. I mean, I'm in geometry, and when am I ever going to have to find the area of a triangle?" Well, little Billy Bob, you don't know where you're going to be in 10 years. Okay? You think you're going to be a lawyer, but you could become bankrupt. And you're going to have to work from the floor up. And you're going to have to go into laboring, boring jobs to try and make a living. So you better shut up and learn how to find the area of a triangle. That's exactly what they'll say. I guarantee it. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, some kids really do want to grow up and be construction workers. And it's probably good for them to be able to find the area of a triangle. If they're building my house, I know I would want them to be able to do math. And unfortunately, you may think math is stupid, but you can't argue with that. Some of the math they teach us we're actually going to need to know. Or some people, at least. I know I don't want to be a construction worker. I'm positive I'm not going to be a construction worker. But some kids are. That's why they gotta teach it to us. I hate math just as much as any of you people out there. I'm actually really good. I'm actually in Algebra 2. I don't know how I got here. I thought I was gonna get an F last year, but somehow I made it. Anyways, I mean, you can't argue when a teacher says something like that, because it's true. Some kids really do want to be construction workers. But I learned the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life today. Called imaginary numbers. Imaginary numbers? That sounds so fun. Oh, no, it's not. It's stupid. You think you're all smart because you came up with some math. But you're pretty dumb. Why? Because imaginary numbers are a complete waste of my time. They are. They really are. For any of you who don't know who imaginary numbers, For any of you who don't know what imaginary numbers are, allow me to explain. They're obviously imaginary, so they're not actually real numbers. They're not numbers at all. It's actually just an I, the letter I. They just drop it into an equation, and I think it changes all the negatives to positive and all the positives to negatives. Kind of a waste of time. But you can't get rid of the I. That's the big problem. You have to keep the I in the equation. You can't solve for I. You can't divide off the I. You gotta keep the I in the equation. It basically jacks everything up. I mean, why would you throw an I in an equation that's already all good? I mean, what's the big deal with turning negative 2 plus 6 into 2 minus 6? Why didn't you just write it the way in the first place? Why would you drop an I in there and make it change? It's really stupid. And I'm not saying imaginary numbers are hard. They're just dumb. I feel like we're wasting a whole section of math. I mean, I hate math. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like we're just wasting a whole, chapter of math on numbers that aren't even numbers. It's a letter. It's not even numbers. It's not imaginary numbers. It should be imaginary letter. It's just an I. So dumb. And then, to learn about imaginary numbers, we had to sit and learn about the history of all numbers. Because apparently, real numbers are all numbers. And imaginary numbers have their own little category. But all numbers, even if they're not numbers, because imaginary numbers aren't numbers at all, it's a letter. So if it's a letter or a number, you know what, if it has to do with math, technically it's considered complex numbers. Even if it's not a number. Imaginary numbers aren't numbers. It's just an I. Technically that's a number. I is a number. A letter is a number. The letter I is technically a number. Isn't that great? Now let's be honest. This one is for real. I don't care what you want to be when you get older. You will not use this. Literally, I could care less what you want to be. No one on this planet uses imaginary numbers. And that really makes me think. Why would they invent it? Why would they make up numbers that aren't numbers They're imaginary numbers. But why would they put it in my textbook? If it's not real numbers, then why is it in my math textbook? And who decided to make it up anyways? Who sat there and was like, I know what I'll do. I'll make up numbers that aren't real numbers and I'll represent it by a letter and then I'll put it in all the textbooks and teach it to all the their kids. What idiot works at a textbook company and says, oh man, we gotta teach those kids about that fake number, imaginary numbers that represented by an I. We gotta teach kids that. You could use that one day. No, you couldn't. Seriously, go up to your math teacher and ask them, Math teacher, are we ever going to use imaginary numbers? They'll say, maybe in Algebra 2, and you'll say, no, in life. And what are they going to say to that? Nothing. You will literally never use imaginary numbers. Imaginary letter. God, it's confusing and stupid. Anyways, here are my shoutouts. Nadia Vasquez, Fatima da Silva, Jessica Gorman, Mariah Stone, Jessica Whitman, oh girl, Jessica Whitman, Jackie Serta, Gabby Ralden, Erica Ochoa, Ashley Welton, and Amy Graham. Sorry, my writing is hecka sloppy. Anyways, so there's that. Stay out of Algebra 2 as long as you can. Fail on purpose, please, because this is just a waste of time. Past Algebra 1. You know what, past division, you really don't even need to know at all, actually, anything, because even Algebra 1 was kind of dumb. No, formulas. Okay, past Algebra 1, you could just quit math. Yeah, don't even try. Seriously, give up on life and math.